welcome to the How of Neuroplasticity with Art and Mindfulness. How can the creative process and mindfulness techniques reroute neural pathways in the brain to support optimal mental health, memory, and reduce cognitive signs of aging? In this workshop, we're going to explore just that. And so many of us have been struggling with mental health after a very difficult couple of years. Finding the right solution can be exhausting. So in this workshop, we're going to explore how using art therapy and mindfulness techniques can contribute to healing and actually change neural pathways in the brain for optimal well-being, increase memory, and reduce the cognitive signs of aging. So if you've been feeling the heaviness that life can bring, or are just curious on ways to shift towards optimal happiness, joy, and a more focused and clearer mind, this workshop is for you. So hello, my name is Charmaine Hewsome. I'm an artist, art therapist, registered therapeutic counselor, yoga and meditation teacher, and also a somatic practitioner. I am grateful to live and work on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, the Tsuut'ina and Nakota Nations, and the Métis people of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So here in my clinic, my studio at Center of the Heart, I see clients both in person and online, regionally and internationally. The approaches I take with my work are somatic focused, using art psychotherapy and mindfulness, which we will be discussing here today. And the work I do with clients holds the belief that everyone has the capacity to heal and grow. Together, we find a personalized solution for that path to evolve. I believe that the power of healing lies within each individual, and I work as a guide to support that. The areas I specialize in are working with trauma, symptoms of PTSD, as well as complex PTSD, autism, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, addiction, suicidality, and other mental health symptoms. I also work as an integration specialist for people needing support after psychedelic or plant medicine journeys using art therapy, meditation, neuroscience, and transpersonal counseling. My passions and interests are in neuroplasticity, neuroscience, epigenetics, psychedelic integration, and intergenerational trauma, on which I'm currently writing a book and have created online programs and courses for. What will we be doing in this workshop? Well, we'll be looking at ways that art and meditation affect and change our brain. Specifically, looking at ways we can reduce the signs of aging by lengthening our telomeres, which is an area attached to our chromosomes that shorten and deteriorate over time. So included will be an art directive, which will facilitate exploring our reflection of self using mandalas, a meditation that has been researched and studied to support neurogenesis, and bonus materials are offered at the end of this workshop. The materials you'll need are going to be 2 pieces of paper, about 8 by 10 or 8 by 11, just regular size paper or larger. And one is going to need to have a circle in it, 5 to 12 inch diameter and drawn or cut out. You'll need art materials or a writing device, and a journal will also be helpful. So having a variety of materials is optimum to create choice within the session, because having a sense of choice becomes part of the therapeutic process. If you don't have abundance of materials with you, though, that's completely fine. Whatever you have is going to work just fine for tonight. So to begin, what is neuroplasticity? It's the capacity of neurons and neural networks in the brain to change their connections and behavior in response to new information, sensory stimulation, development, damage, or dysfunction. And what exactly does neuroplasticity do to your brain? Another definition states that neuroplasticity can be viewed as a general umbrella term that refers to the brain's ability to modify, change, and adapt both structure and function throughout life and in response to experience. As these definitions state, neuroplasticity is the capacity we have to change neural networks in the brain to produce results which create neurogenesis. So it's a natural healing that can happen. Our discussions and activities today will be focused on how to make that happen to support optimal mental health and reduce the signs of aging related to cognition and memory. So what is art therapy? Well, it's a mental health profession that integrates psychotherapeutic techniques with the creative process to improve mental health and well-being for people of all ages. It's sometimes referred to as creative arts therapy or expressive arts therapy. It encourages people to express and understand emotions through artistic expression and creativity. And art therapists are trained professionals, having completed postgraduate or master's level studies in the field. But there's also increasing evidence in rehabilitation medicine and the field of neuroscience that art enhances brain function by impacting brainwave patterns, emotions, and the nervous system. Art can also raise serotonin levels. And these benefits don't just come from making art, they also occur by experiencing art, so stimulating the creation of new neural pathways and ways of thinking. So art accesses many of the advanced processes of the human brain, such as intuitive analysis, expressivity, and embodied cognition. Art therapy helps people to resolve conflicts, problems, develop interpersonal skills, manage behavior, reduce stress, increase self-esteem and self-awareness, and achieve insight one may not have had before. The profession of art therapy integrates the fields of human development and visual art, so drawing, painting, sculpture, and other art forms, and the creative process with models of counseling and psychotherapy to support mental health and alleviate emotional problems related to disruptive life experiences. You don't need to be an artist to do art therapy, quite the opposite. Art therapy supports and is used to assess and treat anxiety, depression, and other mental and emotional problems and disorders, impulsivity and attentional issues like ADHD and autism, substance abuse and other addictions, family and relationship issues, suicidality. It also helps support healing from abuse and domestic violence, social and emotional difficulties related to disabilities and illness, healing from trauma and loss, physical, cognitive, and neurological problems, and psychosocial difficulties. By using art in therapy with a certified art therapist, one is able to bring unconscious feelings to consciousness. And this can help a person give expression to their feelings and hidden inner conflicts that they may not have had words for. Oftentimes, issues that affect our mental health happened before we knew how to talk, or sometimes it's not clear what's at the root of an issue. Using art in a therapeutic way helps to uncover aspects of self that may be locked in the body. So when people are then able to associate feelings verbally to the artwork created, the therapy speeds up recovery. It's through the making of art that feelings trapped inside the body can be moved and expanded on, bringing an awareness to ourselves that was before uncovered. And the idea of using art in psychotherapy has been around since the early days of Carl Jung. This modality of healing has continued to grow and expand, showing people how the benefits of making art in a safe, secure setting can be. With my work with clients, I also use mindfulness as a tool and modality to further tap into somatic awarenesses or a felt sense within the body to assist in the healing process. So let's warm up before we begin. In my private practice working with clients, I always find it beneficial to just do a little warm up, just to get the creative juices flowing and to also help alleviate any expectations, judgment, and left brain thinking mind blocks that may be lingering. So this is a quick exercise. It's not meant to go too deep, so don't sweat it. The materials you're going to need are a piece of paper. So 8 by 11 is fine. You can have something bigger if you want, just a piece of paper. You're going to need a writing device or art materials like pencil crayons, markers, or crayons. So to begin, just notice your breath. Allow it to slow and stay. Allowing it to expand. Press your feet into the floor, or just notice where your body is in contact with the ground or the chair beneath you. And continue breathing. And then begin breathing into the belly with full and slow breaths. Just by beginning calming yourself, coming into the body, bringing awareness to the body. And now, looking at your materials with one color of marker, crayon, or whatever device you have, draw a constant line without lifting your device from the page and stop. Just taking your device on the page, line, stop. And now look what you have created and see if there's an image that you might see or imagine. And now begin accentuating this image to allow for it to be seen more clearly using whatever materials or colors of your choosing. So paying attention to any sensations or feelings in the body. Just reflect on what you've created. Right? We're just warming up here. So what is mindfulness, and how can this also be used in achieving neuroplasticity by rerouting the brain's thought patterns? Well, the act of mindfulness means to calm the mind, allowing the busyness or chatter within to soften. Excuse me. So we're able to become aware of the internal sensations in the body, as well as our surroundings in a mindful way. Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is the creator of mindfulness-based stress reduction protocols, which is now widely used in the healing professions, defined it as paying attention to the present moment on purpose, non-judgmentally. But when we become mindful, we're able to slow time in a way that begins to resource us to feel a greater sense of clarity and balance in life. Noticing when we're coming from a place of ego or a place where we are focused on having our needs met instead of a place of mindfulness awareness can drastically change our interactions with the world. This is sometimes referred to in yoga, meditation, and other schools of thought as getting out of your own way to allow your destiny or dharmic path to unfold. And so eloquently put by philosopher and writer Alan Watts. Ego, the self which has believed itself to be, is nothing but a pattern of habits. Now, mindfulness is a way for us to create new habits and awarenesses that involve and interact fully with the world around us instead of only ourselves. It allows us to see the world through a clearer lens while becoming aware of our own thought process that may at times cloud this lens. When we're using art therapy with mindfulness, we're working to reroute our neural networks, to change patterns, habits, and behaviors in the brain. During this experience, if our egoic self kicks in, it can inhibit this change from taking place, which we will discuss in a bit. This is why staying present and recognizing when we go offline instead of connecting to the present moment is so important. It's a process and it takes time, but it has tremendous benefits for our mental health and happiness. So when we're stressed out or our prefrontal cortex or executive functioning mind goes offline, our judgments become impaired. As Pat Ogden, a pioneer in somatic psychology, states, mindfulness keeps those frontal lobes or prefrontal cortex online and helps integrate rather than dissociate. A great way of doing this is tapping into the body, just noticing your physical sensations, how they come and go, noticing your breath. These sensations are not permanent, and we notice this when we become mindful. However, not everyone feels comfortable or safe in a mindful state, and so getting there can become a huge part of the healing. When a person has learned to dissociate or escape as a way to cope with their world, it's important that there be an acceptance of how this pattern has been of service in the past. It's a defense mechanism. We can't just shed parts of self without honoring what purpose they have had in keeping us feeling protected. But as we develop and grow through conscious awareness, this process becomes easier and more accessible. If this is true for you, just notice, without any judgment, when you may be dissociating. Becoming mindful of this will help to bring you into the present moment. This is you reprogramming your brain and using neuroplasticity to create neurogenesis. As Dan Siegel, a leader in the world of neuroscience and neuroplasticity, suggests, your mind can change your molecules. So what are ways we can become more mindful? Well, we've already discussed some, like through meditation, becoming consciously aware of our breath, using art and therapy, and as I spoke about in part 1 of this lecture series, using the vertical and horizontal integration of our brain processes. And another way to become mindful and to support neuroplasticity in the brain is through the use of mantra or song. Chanting mantras or singing even helps to balance your brain and promote new neural networks to form, which we will be exploring later in our workshop with the meditation together. Many in the ancient Eastern schools of thought, as well as yogic and Ayurvedic sciences, speak of meridian points in the body. When these become blocked, we also become blocked because life force energy is unable to move freely through the body. It's believed that there are 182 meridian points or nadis on the roof of our mouths. When we chant or sing, these areas become activated, allowing for the secretions of neurochemicals in the brain, which supports an elevated mood and the creation of new patterns to support an overall sense of well-being. Another way to become mindful is a tool that can be used during meditation, which is our eye gaze. Drishti or eye focus. So there's several different places to focus the eyes while meditating, depending on which meridians and parts of the brain are to be stimulated. As a teacher of Kundalini Yoga, I often invite my students to engage Drishti or eye gaze in meditation. And we'll go over a few here. There's the third eye point, which is also called the brow point, and the root, which is at the root of the nose. So the eyes are closed and the attention is on the brow. The closed eyes are gently raised as if watching a movie on the inside of the forehead between the eyebrows. This stimulates the central nerve channel in the body, which in yoga is called the Sushumna. It is said that a focus at this point stimulates the pituitary gland, allowing our intuition to develop. This also puts pressure on the optic nerve in a way that allows for the secretion of neurochemicals in the brain, supporting an elevated mood. Another one is the tip of the nose. So the eyes are slightly open and looking at the tip of the nose. This stimulates the pineal gland and the frontal lobe of the brain, and new energy pathways are created in the brain. Another one is the moon center. So this is the tip of the chin with the eyes closed and rolled down. This is a cooling and calming drishti, and you see yourself clearly. And finally, there's the crown chakra, also called the 10th gate. So the eyes are closed and rolled up as if looking through the top of the head. This stimulates the pineal and crown energy center. So now let's move into discussing the art that we will be making together tonight. So what are mandalas? Mandalas are sacred symbols. They are used for meditation, prayer, healing, and in art therapy for both adults and children. The mandala, which is Sanskrit for circle or completion, has a long history and is recognized for its deep spiritual meaning and representation of wholeness. Many people and cultures have vouched for the mandala's intrinsic meaning. Buddhists, Tibetans, Hindus have all derived meaning from the mandala and its captivating beauty. Psychologist Carl Jung has called it a representation of the unconscious self. The mandala is widely recognized as a meaningful reflection of its creator. And mandala art therapy and healing can be a great source of reflection on one's soul. Mandalas have been shown in clinical studies to boost the immune system, reduce stress and pain, lower blood pressure, promote sleep, and ease depression. Mandalas represent life as we know it. Mandalas are everywhere. They're the structure of our cells, our world, and our universe. The circle within a center pattern is the basic structure of creation. It is reflected from the micro to the macro in the world as we know it. It's a pattern found in nature and biology, geology, chemistry, physics, and astronomy. On our planet, living things are made of cells, and each cell has a nucleus. All display circles with centers. The crystals that form ice, rocks, and mountains are all made of atoms. And each atom is a mandala. Within the Milky Way galaxy is our solar system. And within our solar system is Earth. Earth is a mandala that is part of a larger mandala. Flowers, the rings found in tree trunks, and the spiraling outward and inward of a snail's shell all reflect the primal mandala pattern. So wherever a center is found, radiating outward and inward, there is wholeness, a mandala. It's my belief that these structures are sacred and hold a certain type of magic. As we connect to our own personal mandala by creating one in this workshop, we are also connecting to the world and universe around us. The very nature of creating a mandala is therapeutic and symbolic. The shapes and colors you create in your mandala will reflect your inner self at the time of creation. As you create, I invite you to tap into that instinctual place and let it guide you in what you are creating. Know that there's no mistakes. This is more about the process of creation than the final outcome. Ultimately, you will be creating a portrait of yourself in this moment. So whatever you are feeling, whatever emotions are coming through will be represented unconsciously or consciously within your mandala. As we often say in art therapy, it's not about the final product, it's about the journey. When you reach your destination, you will have a representation of something meaningful and personal, a snapshot of you for a brief moment in time expressed through your mandala. Okay, now that we're warmed up, let's get started on our mandala. So the materials needed will be a circle drawn or cut from a paper, at least 8 by 11. So you have a circle right here, just cut out. Even if you draw a circle, that's fine. So you can easily create a circle by grabbing the lid of a pot and using that as a guide, or grabbing whatever is around the house that is round to draw on. You'll need art materials of your choice. Having a variety of materials is optimum to create choice within the session. Having a sense of choice becomes part of the therapeutic process. So before we begin, we will start with a short meditation, allowing us to tap into the body and use any sensations that come up as a resource for healing. So become aware of the breath. Close your eyes or soften your gaze if this is comfortable and available to you. Continue breathing, slowing the breath, allowing you to expand as you pay attention to any sensations in the body. And we're reflecting now on the sun, on the moon, the earth, the drum, and yourself. We are a circle within a circle. We are not separate from the container. We are a part of this. Breathe in fully and notice any sensations. allowing the breath to go to these places, nurturing them as you experience a release with the exhale. Allowing each cell in the body to relax deeper into the experience as you stay connected to the breath, pressing your feet gently into the floor. And connecting now to what is sometimes referred to as our Buddha nature, that part of self which is connected to all that is, the part of self that is you at your core and is your soul, spirit, inner power, intuition, whatever words feel true for you to describe it. It is within everyone. It is wise, loving, compassionate, and is the part of the self that has only your highest good as its sole intent. It is at the heart of who you are and will protect you in this journey of creation and exploration. Breathe into this space and feel it. It may become obscured at times with the stresses of life, but I invite you now to tap into it. If this is unavailable, just imagine what it would be like and breathe. It is from this place that we will be creating our mandala. So when we work from this altered state of awareness, we are not dependent on our eyes as much, since we begin to rely on our other sensations and senses of the body. We will be creating from the eyes of the heart. There's no right or wrong way to connect with this part of the self, whatever has meaning for you. Again, feeling the breath, feeling your feet on the ground or the ground or chair beneath you, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the body. And when you are ready, coming back into the room and opening your eyes, if you have closed them, looking around at your materials and begin to create. As you stay connected to your breath and any sensations within the body, continue to create within your circle. Your mandala does not need to be perfect, and images within can vary in size. In this moment, you are creating from the eyes of the heart, or rather creating from the unconscious. So allow the process to take effect without judgment or overthinking. If this happens and you find yourself moving into your thinking mind, notice this. And with a full breath, bring your attention back to the heart. Imagine yourself creating from this place. Maybe it's a much younger place than your current age. Maybe not. Do not question too much in this moment. Just allow the feelings and the expression from within to move the materials. And pay attention to the sound and the feel of the materials as they move along the paper. This mindful awareness helps to bring us into the present moment and allows our egoic mind to calm and fade in a way that can bring a deeper sense of internal peace. Press your feet into the floor every now and again, allowing the somatic sensations within the body to ground and take root within. This also engages the parasympathetic and nervous system and creates a somatic memory within, so you may come back and access this feeling of calm when you need it. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. We're going to spend some time here creating, so take the time you need. We'll spend about 10 minutes allowing you to work on your mandala, staying mindful and aware of the sensations within, noticing any information that comes up as you continue to create. And don't forget to breathe. Again, noticing when you may move into the head and start thinking about things and just breathing into the heart, bringing your awareness back to the body, allowing the process to happen naturally, unraveling without moving into the head to think of what needs to come next. Just follow that intuitive place within that you tapped into. Continue breathing and connecting to that place within. Every now and then just pressing your feet onto the ground, grounding that energy. As you move the energy from within to the people in front of you. As you continue working on your mandala, notice if there's anything else that's needed as you continue to create. There may be an area that speaks to you that needs more of something. Just paying attention and listening to that sensation, that intuitive knowingness, and acting on it in whatever way feels right for you. We'll just spend a couple more minutes finishing up. So once you've finished your creation, look at it and notice any messages or sensations that may arise when you pause, look, breathe, and feel. If you finished early or need some time afterwards, take some time to write and reflect in your journal any information or insights that may have come up for you. This image, when finished, can be used as a resource for you, a reminder of who you are at your core. So feel free to put it up somewhere where you can see it throughout your day if you choose, or do something with it that feels meaningful for you. I'm bringing this art directive to completion now, and you can work on it later too, if you like. We'll now move into the next part of this workshop, exploring meditation and how this can change our brain, the ways we connect with the world and our lives in general. So getting older is a part of life, and understanding why we age and may become more forgetful is a puzzle that scientists are still trying to solve. One theory suggests that the aging process is at least partly linked to our telomeres. In this section of our workshop, we will discuss this and a meditation that has been researched and scientifically proven to support and repair telomeres. So what are telomeres? Well, they're these little protective caps at the end of the DNA molecules that make up our chromosomes. Their job is to stop the ends of chromosomes from fraying or sticking to each other, much like the plastic tips on the ends of shoelaces that keeps the string from fraying. So they are the protectors of our DNA. Telomeres also play an important role in making sure our DNA gets copied properly when cells divide. So as we age and our cells continue to divide, not all information gets passed on, like a photocopier cutting off the last line of the text on a page. And this leads to loss of some genetic information. So our DNA strands get shorter and shorter with every cell division. When we're younger, our telomeres are longer, allowing for more cell division. Once the telomeres get too short, the cell can no longer divide and it dies. When they're gone, there's a high potential to get sick. When we have stress, we have less telomeres. So we want them to be repaired and lengthened. I know it sounds kind of tragic, okay, but don't worry, we're getting to a possible solution. So how can we lengthen our telomeres? By being present. So what you do with your mind and your relationships changes the molecules of health. It changes your enzymes, the telomeres, the body from developing inflammatory diseases. Your mind is both your whole body and your relational world. So we all know that meditation is beneficial for stress relief and brain function, but it turns out it's also good for telomerase production, which creates telomeres to lengthen. The University of California did a study, which has now been replicated several times, that shows that regular mindfulness meditation increases telomerase production. People who experience psychological stress also tend to have shorter telomeres. So participation in a support group or individual counseling increases telomerase production as difficult emotions are processed and the stress is reduced. Another way to increase the length of telomeres is when we are in service of others. Just being kind and helpful to your neighbors keeps you healthy. Interesting that we know that helping others helps us feel better, but now we know that service literally changes our DNA. Talk about karma, and what goes around comes around. So what are doctors saying? Well, Maria Carrillo, who is the Medical and Scientific Relations Director for the Alzheimer's Association, says, we know that stress damages the brain. Along with the aging of the population and lifestyle risk factors, it's a big factor in the looming epidemic we're facing. This was before COVID that she said this too, in 2017. So she cites a study in the association released in 2017, which estimates that someone develops Alzheimer's in the USA every 71 seconds. And Dr. Dharma Singh Khalsa, the author of Brain Longevity, Meditation is Medicine, and the president and medical director of the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation, says, it's shocking. About 15 years ago, there were 4 million people with Alzheimer's. Today, that number is 5.2 million, and we're going to see it skyrocket. He goes on to say, I think stress and lifestyle are leading causes. Right now in America, we're being told to be afraid, be very afraid. There's so much stress and pressure in our society, and it's creating an epidemic of memory loss. Like I said, this was before COVID, when we had even more stress. So he said this in 2017, before the world pandemic. But there is good news. Those scientists have come a long way in understanding what works to improve brain function. And some of them say that yoga, with its unique combination of exercise, meditation, mantra, relaxation, and focus, might be a great antidote. Neuroscientists like to say, neurons that fire together, wire together. But when you think and do things repeatedly, you create neural pathways that get deeper and deeper over time. It's right in line with the yogic idea of samskara. As you think, so you are. This fundamental tenet of yoga is now the basic idea of neuroplasticity. So change is possible, in other words. In fact, neuroplasticity holds that it's inevitable. So through action or inaction, our brain is changing all the time. And doctors all over the world are singing these praises. Laura Arananda, who is the director of Brain Research Institute at the Maharishi University of Management in Fairfield, Iowa, says, when you integrate breath and movement and other exercises such as chanting, the mind becomes more focused and clear, the emotions become more balanced, and neuromuscular functioning is improved. A series of recent studies published in journals like Science and the Journal of Neuroscience have shown that exercise can stimulate the generation of new brain cells, and that the cells can migrate from one area of the brain to the other. Dr. Dharma Singh Khalsa responds to this saying, this is evidence that you can move beyond molding and shaping the mind. You can literally create a new brain. Khalsa concludes, it's beyond neuroplasticity, it's neurogenesis. But there's a hit. These same studies show that new brain cells don't stick around long enough if we're stressed. To create and maintain them, Khalsa says you need to move your body, engage your mind, and manage your stress. And that's where yoga comes in. So the meditation we'll be doing tonight together is called the Kirtan Kriya. It's been studied by Dr. Khalsa at the University of Pennsylvania Center for Spirituality and the Mind under the supervision of Andrew Newberg, the neuroscientist famous for his revelatory studies of Tibetan Buddhist meditators. And Khalsa reports, we took people with memory loss and prescribed 12 minutes a day of Kirtan Kriya every day. After 8 weeks, the brain scans show that after the meditation, blood flow to the frontal lobe, the area responsible for attention, concentration, and focus, is improved. Newberg's findings say we Know that exercise, posture, focused breathing, and meditation are all good for the brain. But because of that, yoga should go far in creating positive brain changes. But we don't know exactly how or why it works. In Kirtan Kriya, for instance, we don't know whether the breathing, the visualization, the repetition, or the mantra, or the finger movements are responsible. We just know it's improving cognition. So another medical professional, Alark Aranandar, who I previously mentioned as the director of Brain Research Institute, says, done properly, yoga is an experience of union. Alzheimer's is nothing more than a disorder of progressive disconnection. Yoga and meditation create coherence and connection. So when we do yoga, the experience filters down and touches our very DNA. Very few of us who have the 1 or 2 genes associated with early onset Alzheimer's, which is hard to prevent. For the majority of us, genetic predisposition for Alzheimer's doesn't matter, since you can change how your genes are expressed. Wow. So, and according to Shivarpita Harigan, the director of Patanjali Kundalini Yoga Center in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Yoga Sutra is a manual for how to do this. The yogis have said for ages, this is what she said, the yogis have said for ages that spiritual practice changes the brain. And they have a very systemic method for doing so. If you practice regularly, you can shift the patterns of the autonomic nervous system over time. You can change the physiology, the hormones, and the neurotransmitters in the brain and create a foundation for more peacefulness and clarity. The mind will become stronger so that one is not as susceptible to the distraction and influences of negativity and confusion that are all around us. Wow, so that's what she says. So that's to say a calm mind is a focused one able to function optimally now and for many years to come. So according to the study concluded by Dr. Dharma Singh Khalsa and supervised by Dr. Andrew Newberg, 12 scientifically proven, they came up with 12 scientifically proven ways yoga and meditation help. And I'll just go through these quickly here. There's the first one is an increase of telomerase. So again, telomerase is the enzyme that controls the length of your telomeres, the cap of your DNA. So longer telomeres equal better health, shorter telomeres equal Alzheimer's disease, accelerated aging, and a shortened life. So an increase of 44% in telomerase was shown in a study on highly stressed caregivers doing Kirtan Kriya for 12 minutes a day for 8 weeks. This is the largest increase in telomerase ever seen. And 2, there's a decrease in bad genes. So 39 stressed caregivers using Kirtan Kriya for 12 weeks had what is known as downregulation of inflammatory genes. So this is important because inflammation is a hallmark of many illnesses, including Alzheimer's. 3, an improvement of mood. An improvement of good genes, including those that boost your immune system. 4, improve sleep. Sleep is critically important for optimal brain and body health. Disrupted sleep is a risk factor for Alzheimer's and many other illnesses, and Kirtan Kriya can help improve sleep. 5, enhance blood flow to the brain. So patients with cognitive decline and stressed caregivers had increased cerebral blood flow in critically important areas of their brain, including those known to influence attention, concentration, focus, memory of the hippocampus, depression, trauma, and resiliency. 6, there was an increased healthy brain size. Compared to beginners, long-term meditators have a larger and healthier looking brain. 7, improved brain chemistry. It's well known that people who have a decrease in brain energy and function have a reduction in certain brain chemicals called neurotransmitters. Hence, the development of drugs that try to increase these transmitters. Kirtan Kriya, however, seems to help increase neurotransmitters in a natural way and improve communication between brain cells, thus enhancing brain and memory function. And 8, improved memory. In a study of stressed caregivers, the practitioners had a better memory after Kirtan Kriya meditation training. 9, reduced stress. Studies show cognitive decline caused by acute and chronic stress have an increase in cortisol. Meditation reduces stress and lowers cortisol levels. And 10, less depression. 65% of subjects showed an improvement on depression scales, which may be a risk factor for cognitive decline. And 11, there's a clarity of purpose. Meditators discovered clarity of purpose in other aspects of psychological well-being, such as acceptance, personal growth, and positive relationships. This has been shown to improve overall health and lower Alzheimer's risks. And finally, 12, spiritual well-being. Practicing Kirtan Kriya creates peace of mind and spiritual well-being, which is something we can all use more of in today's incredibly hectic world. So overall, studies on Kirtan Kriya, singing yoga meditation, a simple 12-minute practice, reveal many positive health benefits for our minds, brains, bodies, and a profound effect all the way down to the level of our DNA. So a lovely and inspiring quote by Dr. Khalsa is, "You are not a prisoner to your genes. There are things a person can do to make sure you bring out the best in your genes. Genes are a part of the story, but not the whole story." So let's give it a try together. The Kirtan Kriya or Satanama meditation. So just to begin with, allow yourself to be in a quiet and undisturbed area if possible. So the posture is we're going to be sitting, you're either sitting on the floor or on a cushion, just to raise the buttocks a little bit, the hips a little above the knees to release pressure on the knees. And just begin breathing. The spine is straight, the legs are crossed, or if you're in a chair, just have them flat on the floor. So sitting with legs crossed, spine straight, shoulders back, heart is open, chin is slightly tucked. And the eyes, our eye gaze will be closed eyes, focused up at the point between the eyebrows. The mantra is Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa meaning infinity, cosmos, beginning. Ta meaning life, existence. Na meaning death, change, and transformation. And Ma meaning rebirth. So as we chant this mantra, we're going to be touching the ends of our fingers. So Sa, we're bringing our pointer finger to our thumb. Ta, bringing the middle finger to the thumb. Na, bringing the ring finger to the thumb. And Ma, bringing the pinky to the thumb. Our arms are stretched out, and the back of the wrists are resting on the knees. So whether you're sitting or cross-legged, just resting the wrists on the knees with the arms stretched out. We're chanting Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. So we're going to be chanting this in the mantra in 5 sections. For the first 3 minutes, we're going to be chanting aloud. For the next 3 minutes, we're going to be chanting in a whisper. The next 6 minutes is done silently, chanting within. And then the following 3 minutes, we'll be chanting again in a whisper. And to end our final 3 minutes, we will chant aloud. So I will share my screen with you, and we will follow the meditation together with the music to guide us. So staying focused on your brow point, the sounds, any feelings or sensations with the body, and how the sounds feel as you express them out loud in a whisper and silently. Again, staying connected to your breath. The spine is straight. As you continue to breathe, remember we're going to be focusing up at the brow point. If you'd like, you can also imagine a ray of light coming in through the head with each consonant that you chant. So Sa coming in through the head and out through the pineal gland, out through the third eye. Ta, Na, Ma. So it's just a visualization. You don't need to add that if you want. If it's too much, just focusing up at the brow point with the eyes closed and moving the fingers with each mantra sound. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Again, we're chanting aloud the first 3 minutes, whispering the next 3. The following 6 minutes, we'll be chanting inside to ourselves, and then moving back to a whisper and back out loud.
Sadanama, 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 Sadanama,
Inhaling deeply now. Exhaling, bringing the hands up, reaching up towards the sky, bringing the palms together above the head, stretching the body as you inhale, holding the breath, squeezing the energy all up the spine to the top of the head as you focus your gaze up at the third eye. Stretch, 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 and release, bringing the hands to either side. It was a pleasure doing the Kirtan Kriya with you. Thank you. I'm Charmaine at Center of the Heart. If anyone wanted, I'm open for individual sessions. I work online as well as in person. And I wanted to name too that some of the exercises, some of the art directives, they can bring up a lot. And so I just wanted to put it out there that if anyone is in crisis or needs someone to talk to immediately, please go to the Worldwide Crisis Line, which is www.befrienders.org, where if you're in Canada, you can visit crisisservicescanada.ca, or call 1-833-456-4566 or text 45645. And I did have a couple links I wanted to share with you. So it's been such a pleasure sharing this webinar with you on the how of neuroplasticity using art and meditation. This is the second part of this. So to learn more about the work I do or to book a session, there's a link there. You can click just on the screen, or to receive the bonus contact for this webinar, you click that link. I'm going to put it in the chat too, so if it's not working on the screen. And programs on psychedelic integration and neuroplasticity can be found at the link there as well. And also much of the artwork that was used in this presentation has been work that I've created, work that supported my own journey of neuroplasticity through depression, through a concussion. It's powerful work working with mandalas, whatever way you choose to work with them. And if you'd like to see more or have one of your own pieces, you're welcome to visit my Etsy page at Charmaine Hewsome Art. And the link is down there. It was a pleasure to be here and share this information with you. Question I may ask, an open question, would be, what information do you have for me? And so breathing into the body, pressing the feet into the ground, and just sitting with that and noticing what comes up, noticing what messages come up. Often what I'll do too is automatic writing. So just start writing things out and noticing what information may come up. I do believe it's almost like a channeling in ways where we're allowing the artwork to speak. Something I may do afterwards with artwork too is to ask or notice where my eye goes to first, and then explore that, and then question, wow, notice any thoughts, memories, or sensations that might come up when that question is asked. Also, just staying open to any awarenesses that come up to explore it deeper. So, and like I said, if this is a resource for any of you to use, it's a wonderful thing just to put on your wall, just as a memory of you connecting to who you are. You are the center of the circle. Our whole world is filled with sacred geometry and sacred circles, and we are that from the micro to the macro. If anyone wanted to reach out, you have my information there, and I'm open to connect. Blessings on your journey, and namaste. Bye-bye.